How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now on today's show, we're going to look back at all the games over the weekend. There were wins for Liverpool, wins for Arsenal, and in the FA Cup semi-final, Manchester United got very, very lucky.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So, of course, it's Monday morning, which means we get to look back on the games over the course of the weekend. Now, it was a bit of a mixed bag because there was FA Cup semi-final action, and I will get into that in a moment. But, of course, the Premier League games, big games at both ends of the table. And we're going to start off with Luton against Brentford. And I've got a feeling that Luton may well have run out of steam. Maybe all of the injuries have finally caught up with them. And even a game at Kenilworth Road where they're notoriously difficult to beat ended up being a really, really bad afternoon for them. And a 5-1 win for Brentford. Very, very good performance and very, very good goals in that game. And Luton, like I said, I've got a feeling they may well have just started to run out of steam. And that would be a very, very disappointing result for them. And it could well be the beginning of the end for them in the Premier League. But whatever happens, they've had a brilliant campaign and they've made a lot of friends along the way. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the remaining games. Sheffield United against Burnley. 4-1 win for Burnley. Sheffield United are all but down. We're just waiting for it to be mathematically, impossible for them to get out of it, but they are never getting out of it. Burnley, on the other hand, have crept up. You know, a few weeks ago, I thought, like Sheffield United, they were done for. But they're 3 points away from being able to get out of it. And when you think of some of the goalkeeping errors that they've had of late, that Brighton game in particular, the 2 points that were dropped because of the, goalkeeping mistake, even the week before, the mistake that gave Everton the win against them. How big could those points that have been dropped be? But listen, they're in with a fight, that's for sure. And that's a big win for them. Wolves against Arsenal, I've touched on that already in my match reaction and everything else. It's a brilliant win for Arsenal. Getting back to winning ways after, what's been a difficult week with the defeats against Bayern Munich and then Aston Villa last weekend. And, of course, that win takes them to the top of the table because Man City didn't play in the Premier League over the weekend. I'm going to go into yesterday's games in a moment. And I'm just seeing it here and it's just making me laugh already. And I think some people know what I'm on about. I'm not even on about the Manchester United game yet. But there was an FA Cup semi-final. Manchester City against Chelsea. And Manchester City won this game 1-0. Bernardo Silva very late in the day got the win for Man City. But how Chelsea didn't win this game or get something from it, I do not know. I do know. His name was Nicholas Jackson. That's the main reason why. Miss after miss after miss. And Man City looked very tired after their exertions against Real Madrid in the Champions League. But Chelsea, they faltered at the final hurdle before the final. And they'll feel disappointed because they had so many chances to score and win this game outright. And then Man City with the sucker punch right towards the end. And it's another final for them. Going into Sunday's games in the Premier League. First of all, Everton against Nottingham Forest. 2-0 win for Everton. That was a big 3 points and could well help them stay out of that relegation fight. But my word, this does not tell the tale of the game. Nottingham Forest were denied 3 penalties. 3 absolute stonewall penalties. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And the referee, VAR and everything else waved them all away. Nope, I still don't know how. the handball, the tackle that was like, come on, like, what are you seeing that we can't see? Like, it's there in front of you. You've got the technology and you still can't do your job properly. But that was not the big talking point. The talking point was the statement made by Nottingham Forest after the game on their Twitter page, X page, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. And they said, 3 extremely poor decisions, 3 penalties not given, which we simply cannot accept. We warned the PGMOL that the VAR is a Luton fan before the game, but they didn't change him. Our patience has been tested multiple times. Nottingham Forest Football Club will now consider its options. Wow, that is insane. They have basically said they've cheated. That VAR is a Luton fan, and the best result for Luton as a football club, when you're looking at it, will be for Nottingham Forest not to get any points, because Everton are a little bit further ahead. So the best scenario will be Nottingham Forest don't win, and then Luton are within touching distance. And you're basically saying that the VAR referee has cheated to help the team that he supports out. Wow. And listen, there's been a lot of talk about it. As usual, the puppet masters, Neville and Carragher, who work for Sky and have to defend the PGMOL and everything else, have come out and said it's a disgrace, it's this, it's that. Listen, it's not a disgrace. It's about time that clubs called this out, because it's absolutely pathetic. And if you've got a platform, why not call it out? All this rubbish about be professional and don't do this and don't. No, that's why so much of this goes, under the carpet or brushed under the carpet, whatever phrase you want to use. It's because nobody ever calls it out. Everybody has to just sit there and just accept it. Why should you accept it? It doesn't matter whether you're in the Premier League or you're like my team in step 6 of non-league. It happens. There's been times when my club have used their Twitter account, which has got a big following compared to, other clubs in non-league, to call out bad decisions against us. And people are, oh, you can't do that. You can't. Piss off about can't do that. Of course you can do that. Why not use your platform to call them out? You're paying a lot of money out. There's a lot of things involved. There's a lot at stake. Why not call it out? Why should they constantly be getting away with it? Oh, but we have to be nice to referees and we have to do all these. Listen, if you're poor, if you're doing these kind of things, so what? Get called out for it. Simple as that, innit? What will happen to Nottingham Forest, I really don't know. They'll probably get punished for it, because again, you're not allowed to speak out, are you? But it's a very interesting one. But fair play to Nottingham Forest for coming out and actually having the balls to say something. Crystal Palace against West Ham, very comfortable 5-2 win for Crystal Palace. West Ham looked completely flat after, the events of Thursday night in the Europa League, and they were 4-0 down with inside the first 30 minutes, and it looked like it could be an absolute hammering, excuse the pun. But yeah, West Ham were able to, dampen that down and make the scoreline not as bad as what it could have been. And yeah, it was a 5-2 win for Crystal Palace. Aston Villa, 3-1 winners against Bournemouth, and they have really taken control of that 4th place now, with Spurs not having a game. Bournemouth actually took the lead in this game, Solanke from the penalty spot, and Aston Villa able to turn it round and get the 3 points, and that's a big 3 points for them. Fulham against Liverpool, and Liverpool, very much like Arsenal, got back to winning ways. There were a lot of question marks about Jurgen Klopp's team selection before the game, with the likes of Szoboszlai, Salah, McAllister, etc., all on the bench. But it was justified, and Liverpool were deserved winners. Went in at half-time 1-1. But they got the job done and they got the 3 points. And it's very, very interesting what it's done to the Premier League table, because Liverpool go into second place, Arsenal top, Man City drop down to third, but they do have a game in hand. Now, Arsenal and Liverpool do actually play again in the Premier League this week before Manchester City, play again. And yeah, one, quick point I want to mention as well. I see Pep Guardiola moaning about the fixture pile-up, congestion and everything else. And listen, Arsenal play Chelsea tomorrow, okay? Which means we would have played 4 games in 9 days. Man City don't play till Thursday, which means they would have played 4 games in 12 days, I think it is. So you're actually being helped here by having a couple of days extra rest in the Premier League, whilst we've been given the short straw and it's like, right, got to go play Chelsea tomorrow. Like, we've got to deal with it. And at the end of the day, we played on Saturday as well after playing Wednesday and going out to Munich. So don't see Mikel moaning about it. At the end of the day, you've got to get on with it. Simple as that, really. Bottom end of the table, Burnley, like I said, 23 points. Only 3 points off Nottingham Forest, who are outside the relegation places. Luton on 25 points. So they're still in it. They're only a point away, but yeah, you just wonder what that 5-1 defeat will do. So very, very interesting. Now, the last point we're going to speak about is the last of the FA Cup semi-finals. Manchester United against Coventry City. And what a shambles of a performance for Manchester United. 3-0 up against championship side Coventry City, who were 8th in the championship. Had a fantastic, run to get to the semi-final. But they were 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go. And then Coventry completely turned it on its head and scored 3 goals to take it to extra time. And Manchester United looked absolutely shocked. They were all over the place. And in the 120th minute, the final seconds of the game, Coventry thought they had scored the goal that took them to the FA Cup final. What a turnaround that would have been. And VAR intervened and ruled it out for offside. And there is some little bits of talking points with that offside, because we have a look at the lines that were drawn. And it looks very much like the lines have been drawn over Wan-Bissaka's foot. So it wasn't actually in the correct place where they calibrated it from. So yeah, question marks, because that would have been one of the all-time greatest FA Cup moments in history. Imagine being 3-0 down in a semi-final with 20 minutes to go as a championship side against Manchester United, and you turn it around and win. For Manchester United, another final for them. But I tell you something, and I tell you this from experience, getting to finals doesn't mean there's progression. Arsenal were doing this in the latter years of Arsene Wenger, and it's great. It feels nice at the time and everything else. But all you're doing is papering over massive, massive cracks. It's like having a gaping hole and you're using a plaster to try and cover it. There's only so long that will hold, and then it breaks. And this is the same scenario. Manchester United are going nowhere under Erik ten Hag. I'm telling you that now. Okay, they're a million miles away from challenging the Premier League. And if you're happy with just getting to the odd finals, which you didn't win last year and you're probably not going to win this year, you happy with that? Is that progress? Is that an achievement? No, it's not. Erik ten Hag will spin it and say that it's an achievement, but it's not. It's that simple, and the mouthpieces of the club will turn around and say things and make it, look like an achievement. Again, it's not an achievement because there's no progression. I'm very, very comfortable with the position that Arsenal are in now, where we're not making these finals, but we have clearly progressed as a club. We're challenging for titles. We're so close. And I know we've got to win the Premier League to finally make that final step that says, okay, it was all worthwhile. But we're so close and we're challenging and we're doing the things that we were crying out for so long under Arsene Wenger, and we weren't doing. We're not just getting into the top 4 now and being like, that's okay, that's cool, we'll leave it at that. We're actually, comfortably in the top 4 and challenging, for the Premier League. And it's as simple as that. 2 years in a row we have been. Yes, we do need to get over the line. But there's clear progress, and we've had to change from top to bottom to get to where we are. Manchester United are not changing anything until they do that, you know. And the odd little final, it's nice, it's a day out. That's about it at the end of the day, papering over cracks. So listen, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you feel about all of the talking points today. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.